everyone, what's up? Welcome back to our new JavaScript project tutorial. And in this JavaScript project, I will be creating this. Yes, we will be creating a simple interface where if you write a message here, and then if you click on submit, this message will appear in here. Now let's type another message. What are you learning now? Guys, what are you learning now? Let me know in my comment section so that I can bring some tutorials on that topic also. Now, if I click on the submit button, here you can see that what are you learning now? This is so crazy, guys. This is so beautiful. And if anyone click on the submit button without typing anything here, then we will show a error message, and in that error message we will be telling the user that you have to write something here. Let me show you. Here I will not type anything into our input section, and if I now click on the submit button, here you can see that I have a message. This message is saying that please enter a value to pass. And the interesting part about this error message is that after a few amount of time, this message will be automatically disappear from your interface. And this project is also beginner friendly. And if you are a beginner, then don't worry guys, I will show you every process step by step. For this interface, like a structure and the styling, we will be using HTML and CSS, but the rest of it we will do with JavaScript. And by watching this tutorial, you will be learning some interesting JavaScript fundamentals, and I hope these projects and these techniques will help you in your future works. And please guys, don't skip any part or any second of this video, because everything is important for you. If you skip any part or any second of this video, these things will get difficult for you to understand smoothly. And before you start, if you guys are new in my channel, then please press subscribe, like this video and press the bell icon for the future videos, because I will definitely come back with a new interesting JavaScript project for you guys. So you make sure subscribe this channel, like this video and press the bell icon for the future videos. That's it guys, let's get started. So this is my project directory. Here we have a app.js file, and then we have an index file, and then a main.css file also. So first I will be opening our index.html file. And guys, this is my simple HTML boilerplate, and here we have a title, and then I linked our main.css file, and then I linked our app.js file also. Now first thing I will do, here you can see that we have a box here, white box, and inside this box we have everything, our text, our input section, our button, and our this text also. So now I am gonna do one thing. I will just create a container, and inside this containers I will put everything. Okay, so that's why inside this body, let's create a div tag, and the class name of this div tag will be container. And inside this container, first I will create our this heading. So for this heading I will take a h4 tag, and here I will just simply copy this message from here and then paste it here. That's it. And underneath this h4 I will be creating our this input section and this button here. So for this input section and for our button I will be taking form tag. That's it. And let's give an ID here for this font, and we will need this ID in our JavaScript, so that's why we have to give an ID, and the ID will be message form. That's it guys. And inside this form, first I will be creating an input tag, and here the type will be text, because we will be typing the text here, so that's why type will be text. And the name field will be empty, and here I will be adding another ID for our JavaScript. We will need these IDs in our JavaScript, but for here the ID name will be message. That's it. And then let's give a class here so that we can style these things. So class will be box. That's it guys. And underneath this input section we have to create another input section for our button. So the type will be submit, and then we will need a ID also, and our ID will be submit button. That's it guys. And then let's create a class here, and the class name will be button. So now we have created our form also, and now underneath this we will be creating our this section here. So now we have to create this message into our HTML also. So for creating this image, let's create a h5, and the class name of this h5 will be feedback. And for this message, let me copy this message from here and then paste it here. That's it guys. After this h5 we will be creating a h4 tag, and for this h4 I will be copy this line from here and then paste it here. That's it. And then I will be creating another h4 here, And if I now refresh the page, here you can see that we have an initial message which is hello world. So now I will put this hello world for our initial message, and it will be here. That's it. And for our this h4 and this h4, I will be creating a class also. Okay, for our h4 I don't want any class here. If we need, we can add this later. But for our h4, this message, we have to add message content. That's it, guys. Now save, and if we go to our website and now refresh, here you can see that we have our text and we have everything in the top left corner. So now we have to position these things into our center, and for doing this we have to go to our style sheet. So now let's go to our style sheet, and here you can see that in our style we have our margin, padding, box sizing, and the font family Poppins, which is my favorite. So now we have to bring everything in the center here. So for bringing everything in center, I will show you a magic, and this will be body. And then we have to take our HTML also. That's it. And here I will give a background color first, and it will be 666 5EE. That's it. And then I will be using display grid because I want everything to be in center, so that's why it will be grid. And then I will give a height also, and the height will be 100%. And then I will add a magic line, and it will be place items. That's it. And it will be center. If we now save, and if we go to our website and now refresh, here you can see that we have changed our background color and we have bring everything in the center. This is really cool, guys. So after this one, here you can see that we have so many h4 here. This one is h4 and this two is also h4, but this one actually is actually h5. So now I will do a h4 thing, and this will be actually a global tag so that we don't have to write this h4 thing every time. So for our h4, our font size will be 1.5 rem, and then margin bottom will be 0.5 rem, and then font family will be inherit, and then font weight will be 500, line height will be 1.2, and the text transform will be capitalized. That's it. Now save and go to our website, and now let's see. Here you can see that we have changed our font size for our h4. So after this one, now we have to create our white background. So for doing this, let's go to our index and then copy this container class from here and then paste it here. And then here first I will give a width, and our width will be 600 pixel. And then I will give our background color, and it will be white. That's it. And now let's give a padding here, and the padding from top and bottom it will be 25 pixel, from left and right it will be 30 pixel. Now save, go to our website and now refresh, and here you can see that we have created our this white background. Now I will add a box shadow and our border radius, and our border radius will be 10 pixel. That's it. And now I will add a box shadow, and the box shadow will be 5 pixel, and 5 pixel from vertical, and the 20 pixel will be blur. And then we have to add a RGBA color, and for this RGBA color it will be 0, 0, 0 and 0.2. That's it. Now save and go to our website and now refresh, and here you can see that we have added a border radius, and then we have a small box shadow also, and this is looking so beautiful. So after this one, now I have to bring everything in the center. Here you can see that now everything is actually pushed into the left side, but I want everything to be in center. So for doing this, I will use display, and it will be flex, and the flex direction, let me see, it will be column. Justify content will be center, align items will be center, and then text align will be also center. Now save and go to our website and now refresh. Now here you can see that everything is now in center position, and this is looking so beautiful. So after this one, now we have to, let's see, and here you can see that our this section and this button is actually in one row, but I want everything to be in one column. So for doing this, I will simply target our form, and then for our form I will copy this one from here and then paste it here, and then I will give a width here, and our width will be 100%. Now save, go to our website and now refresh. So now here you can see that everything is now in column here, one column. Now I want some spacing here, and then I will increase the size of this input section. So for doing this, let's target our form again, and then now we have to target our input sections. And now here first I will add a margin here so that we have some space here, because we don't have any space between these sections. So that's why I will add a margin, and from top and bottom it will be 10 pixel, from left and right it will be 0. Then I will give a outline property and it will be none, because whenever I will click on this section here, you can see that we have a black outline and I don't want this outline. Now I will add a border here, and the border will be, let's see, 1 pixel solid, and our color will be this one. That's it. Now save, go to our website and now refresh. Here you can see that now we have our margin, and then we have added a border color also. So after this one, now I want the width of this section to be increased. So for doing this, let's copy this one from here and then paste it here, and then we will be copying our class which we have created, this one box. So I will copy this box class from here and then paste it here. That's it. Now I'll give a width, and our width will be 500 pixel. Then I will give a height also, and our height will be 40 pixel. And then now font size will be 1.2 rem. And then I will adding a padding here, and the padding from top and bottom will be 0, but from left and right it will be 10 pixel. Save, go to our website and now refresh. Here you can see that we have increased our width of this section, and this is looking so beautiful. So after this one, now we have to target our this button, because I want to style this button more. So for doing this, copy this line from here and then paste it here. Now I have to change the class, and the class will be button. Copy this button class from here and then paste it here. That's it. And for our button, here you can see that I have to give font size 1 rem. Padding will be from top and bottom 12 pixel, from left and right 20 pixel, and the background color will be this one, of course my favorite. And then the font color will be white, font weight will be 500, and a cursor will be pointer, because I want a pointer here. Now save and go to our website and now refresh. Here you can see that we have styled our button also, and this button is looking so beautiful. So after this button, now we have to style our this h5, this error message also. So for doing this, let's target our h5. First I will give a background color, and our background color will be hash ffd4cd. That's it. And then I will give a font size, and it will be 1.2 rem. Then I will be adding our width here, and the width will be 100%. Then I will add a padding, and the padding from top and bottom will be 10 pixels, from left and right will be 0, because we don't have any space here. Now save, and if we now refresh, so now here you can see that we have our error message, but I don't want to show this error message now, because whenever people will click on the submit button without typing anything here, then I want to show this message, not now. So for hiding this message, we have actually gave a class here, feedback class. I will copy this class from here and then paste it here. That's it. And then simply I will add display none, because I don't want to show this now. That's why now save, go to our website and now refresh. Here you can see that our message is gone. Okay, so after this one, now here you can see that I have a heading here, and then we have our message here, but I want our message to look different from this message, from these headings. So for doing this, I will simply, what should I do? Okay, go to our HTML and copy this class name from here and then paste it here. That's it. And then let's give a color, a different color, so that it looks different. So the color will be 4B830A. Now save, go to our website and now refresh. Here you can see that we have changed our color. And guys, this is looking so beautiful. Now we have done with our HTML and our CSS part. Now it's time to JavaScript. So for JavaScript part, now let's go to our app.js file. And here first we have to create a function, and inside this function we have to add our functionalities. So now let's create a function. Okay, and here, and now in this part we have to make something clear that in our JavaScript part, which things will be functional. Okay, these things will be functional? No, this section will not be functional. We have to focus on our 4 section, our this input section, our this submit section, our error message section, and our this message section. Okay, 4 sections. So first one is our this section. So now if we want to add functionalities to this section, we have to add this section into our JavaScript file also. So for adding this one, I will add a const here, and then we have to add a variable. Now here you can see that our this section, our this input section is actually initialized in our HTML here, but now we have to initialize this section into our app.js file also. So for doing this, we have to write document dot query selector, and here in our query selector we have to add our ID which we have created here in our form. We have to copy this ID from here and then paste it here. That's it. And inside this section, inside this message form, we have a submit button also, and we have to add some functionalities for our this submit button here also. So for doing this submit button is actually inside our this section, and this section is stored in our form. So now we have to write form here, and then we have to add event listener. That's it. And here first thing we have to do, we have to add our name, we have to add our class name which we have created here. Here you can see that we have a type. Now I have to copy this type name from here and then paste it here. That's it. And then I will be creating a function. So just delete these things. So now let's create a function, and the function will only work in our event. So that's why it will be E. And here first thing we have to do, we have to prevent the default things. So for doing this, we have to initialize our event, and then we have to add prevent default. That's it, guys. So after this one, now we have to get the user values, because here our user will type something and then they will type our submit button, and then our message will be transformed. So now first thing we have to do, we have to get the values from here, from this input section. So for doing this, I have to store these values into a variable. So that's why we have to add a const, and then let's take a variable, and the variable name will be message. That's it. And here we have to write document dot query selector. That's it. And our query will be, let's see, we have a query here. Here you can see that we have an ID. So I will take this ID from our input. So copy this ID from here and then paste it here. That's it. Like this one, I will be copy this one from here, and I need two more. That's it. And now let's change the variable, and it will be feedback. That's it. And for our feedback, I will be take this feedback class from here and then paste it here. And the feedback is actually a class. Here you can see that in our index.html, feedback is actually a class, but our this message is actually a ID. Here you can see that we have an ID here, message. So now we have to add hash here before this text. And after this one, now we have to target our this section, our this message section, because this message section will change every time people will type something, and then if they click on the submit button, our this section will be changed. So now we have to add this section into our JavaScript also. So for initializing this section into our this JavaScript, we have to add a variable, and this variable name will be message content. That's it. And this message content is actually stored in our h4 here, this h4. Now I will simply copy this class name from here and then paste it here. That's it. And guys, this is actually document, not doc, document. That's it. So I will simply copy this one from here and then paste it here. That's it. So now guys, we have done with our input section. We have actually get all the information from our user. So after this one, now we have to work on our error message, because our error message is not now showing. If I click on this button without typing anything here, I want this error message to be appear here. So for doing this, now here I will take a if, and now we have to check the values from here. So this value is actually stored in our message. Now copy this variable and then paste it here, and now I have to check the value. So that's why it will be value, and it will be equal to 3 equal to, because I have to check the values. And if our values is actually empty, then we have to add a functionality. So I want to change the feedback. Here you can see that we have our feedback, and this feedback is not showing now. And now I want to show the feedback whenever people will click on the submit button without typing anything here. So for doing this, let's target our feedback, and then we have to go to in our CSS file. I will tell you why we have to go to our CSS file. So for going to our CSS file, we have to add a class list here. That's it. And then we have to add a class list. So for adding a class list, we have to go to our CSS file. Here you can see that we have give feedback display none. it means our feedback is not showing now. But I want to show the feedback message, I want to show the error message whenever people do wrong things. So now here I will add a class here, and the class will be show, and here I will add display and it will be block. Now save, and then now go to our JS file, and then now here we have to add this new class which we have created a few seconds ago, and it will be show. That's it. And then I had to add a functionality, I have to add a time limit, because I don't want to show this message for lifetime, I want to give a time limit. So for doing this, here we have to add a set timeout. That's it. So I will simply delete these things from here, and here in this set timeout we have to add a function, and here in this function I want to remove this class, I will remove this class. So for doing this, here let's take feedback again, and then let's take our class list also, and then here in our first one we have actually added, now I had to remove, so that's why it will be removed. And which one I want to remove? I want to remove our show, so that's why copy this show from here and then paste it here. That's it. And then I will add a time limit here. So for adding this time limit we have to add a comma, and then after 4 seconds I want to disappear this message. So after this if part, now we have to add a else part also. Here in our if part, here you can see that if our value is empty, we have to show our error message. And then now in our else value, if our message is actually not empty, we have to add this message here. Okay, so for doing this, here we have to, let's take our message container. That's it. And then we have to add text content, and then I want to show the message which people will write here. I want to show the message here, so that's why our message will be saved in our message variable, and this will be value. That's it. And then we have to add our message and then value again, and then we have to set the message value here, and our message value will be this one. So our JavaScript part is also done. Now let's see what is going on here in our this here. Now refresh, and then if we, first thing I will do, I don't want to type anything here, and if I click on this button, I want to see our error message is showing or not. If I click on this button, here you can see that our error message is not showing. I think we have an error here in our JavaScript code. Okay guys, here you can see that in our document.query selector we have a ID here, message form. Here you can see that we have an ID, message form. This is actually an ID. So now we have to initialize this ID here, so that's why you have to add hash before this ID. Now save and go to our website, and now refresh, and now click on the submit button. Okay, this is not working. Okay guys, we have to do another thing. Here you can see that our function is actually not working, because I want this function is working always. So that's why we have to add this parenthesis at the last of this function code. Now save and go to our website, and now refresh. And guys, here you can see that whenever I will click on this button without tapping anything, our message will show, and our message will automatically disappear after this amount of time. Now if I click on the submit button again, our message, here you can see that we have to add some message, we have to add some value. So now let's add some value here. Here it will be hi, how are you. Now let's click on submit. Here you can see that we have one message here. Now let's write another message. Have you subscribed my channel yet? Click on submit. Here you can see that we have a question. Have you subscribed my channel yet? Guys, this question is for you. Have you subscribed my channel yet? If not, then click on this subscribe button, and if you can, destroy the subscribe button. So now here you can see that we have done with our JavaScript part also, and this program is looking so beautiful and working also beautifully. If we now refresh, and if we click on the submit button, here you can see that we have a message. We have to add some values. This message is saying that. So now let's add some values. This is tag 2, etc. Now submit. Here you can see that we have our message. This is tag 2, etc. So that's it guys. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and this was actually a beginner friendly for our beginners. And if you are a beginner, and I hope you have learned something from this JavaScript project, and if you enjoyed this tutorial, then please give a like to this video, subscribe this channel, and press the bell icon for the future videos. And if you guys have any question about this video, about this tutorial, please comment below. I will definitely reply you back. So that's it guys. Let's see you in our next JavaScript project.